When scientists first began closely studying sea spiders in the late 20th century, they expected something familiar. Maybe an underwater version of a land spider, a distant cousin with strange proportions, but still following the same biological rules. What they found instead made absolutely no sense. No lungs, no gills, no blood in the way we understand it, no proper heart, and a brain so small it barely qualifies as one. Yet somehow, this creature was alive, moving, hunting, surviving. Even land spiders, unsettling as they are, still rely on basic systems to stay alive. They breathe, they circulate blood, they depend on organs we recognize. But sea spiders appeared to be breaking every biological rule scientists thought was mandatory for animal life. For years, researchers struggled to understand how something so incomplete could function at all. Some even questioned whether sea spiders should be considered animals in the traditional sense. Eventually, a realization set in. This wasn't a broken design, it was a completely different one. Because in the most extreme parts of the ocean, survival isn't about following a standard blueprint. It's about adapting by any means necessary, even if it leaves humans questioning how you're alive in the first place. Despite the name, sea spiders aren't actually spiders. They're not even arachnids. They belong to an entirely separate group called Pycnogonida, a class of marine arthropods that has existed for more than 500 million years. That means sea spiders were already crawling across the ocean floor long before dinosaurs ever walked the land. They've survived multiple mass extinctions, radical climate shifts, and some of the harshest environmental changes Earth has ever seen. Today, scientists know of roughly 1,300 to 1,500 species, spread across more than 80 genera and 11 families. Sea spiders inhabit nearly every ocean on the planet, from warm, shallow tropical waters to the freezing depths of the Arctic and Antarctic. But the deeper and colder the water gets, the stranger these creatures become. In most parts of the world, sea spiders are tiny. Many are only a few millimeters wide, small enough to crawl unnoticed along the seafloor. But in polar oceans, something unusual happens. They grow massive. In Antarctic waters, some sea spiders reach sizes comparable to a house cat, with leg spans stretching up to 60 centimeters, or about 2 feet across. This dramatic increase in size is part of a phenomenon known as polar gigantism, where cold-water marine animals grow far larger than their relatives in warmer environments. And strangely enough, their size isn't even the weirdest thing about them. What truly sets sea spiders apart is what they're missing. Most animals rely on a standard set of organs to survive: lungs to breathe, a heart to pump blood, and a centralized nervous system to control movement. Sea spiders have almost none of that. They don't have lungs, they don't have gills, they don't even have a proper respiratory system. Instead, sea spiders absorb oxygen directly through their exoskeleton. Their bodies are incredibly thin, allowing oxygen to diffuse straight into their cells without needing to be transported by blood vessels. Because of this, they don't require a traditional circulatory system at all. It's a low-energy survival strategy, like running an entire city without roads and somehow still delivering supplies. And if that wasn't strange enough, sea spiders don't have blood in the usual sense either. Instead, they use hemolymph, a blood-like fluid common in arthropods. But even then, circulation works very differently for them. Because in sea spiders, the heart barely does anything. Their stomach does the work instead. A sea spider's digestive system extends throughout its body and deep into its long, spindly legs. By contracting and squeezing their gut, they push nutrients and oxygen through their entire system. Imagine having to tense your stomach every time your body needed to circulate fluids. Weird? Absolutely. Effective? Surprisingly, yes. Their nervous system is just as unconventional. Sea spiders do have a brain, but it's tiny and fused to the front segments of their body. Instead of relying on a centralized control center, much of their nervous system is distributed throughout their legs. Each limb contains nerve cords that help process information locally. In other words, their legs do some of the thinking for them. This setup allows for fast reactions without signals needing to travel long distances. It's a decentralized system that works especially well in environments where survival depends on quick, localized responses. And despite their fragile, alien appearance, sea spiders are capable predators. They crawl slowly across the ocean floor, hunting soft-bodied prey like sea anemones, sponges, and jellyfish. When they find a target, they use a long proboscis, a tube-like mouthpart, to pierce the prey and slowly suck out nutrients. No tearing, no chewing, just patience. Even their reproduction defies expectations. In most species, females handle parental care, but sea spiders flip that rule completely. The males are responsible for raising the offspring. After the female lays her eggs, the male carefully gathers them and attaches them to specialized structures on his legs, carrying them until they hatch. In some Antarctic species, males go even further. Instead of carrying the eggs, they anchor them directly to the seafloor, protecting them from strong currents and freezing conditions. This level of paternal care is rare among marine arthropods. Similar behaviors exist in creatures like seahorses and giant water bugs, but sea spiders stand out because they adapt their parenting strategies specifically for extreme environments. So why evolve like this? Why lose organs most animals depend on? The answer lies in where sea spiders thrive. They are especially successful in polar and deep-sea environments, places with crushing pressure, freezing temperatures, and low oxygen levels. Cold water? Not a problem. Their slow metabolism allows them to survive on minimal energy. High pressure? Their soft, flexible bodies reduce the risk of structural damage. Low oxygen? They absorb it directly through their exoskeleton. Without bulky organs taking up space, their bodies remain lightweight, efficient, and perfectly suited for extreme conditions. Every missing organ isn't a weakness, it's an adaptation. And these adaptations don't stop there. In 2023, scientists made a surprising discovery. Young sea spiders can regenerate lost limbs. For a long time, researchers believed sea spiders lacked this ability. While regeneration limbs is common in many arthropods, sea spiders were thought to be an exception. That assumption turned out to be wrong. Juvenile sea spiders were observed regrowing legs after injury, a crucial survival advantage in environments filled with predators and limited mobility options. Interestingly, this ability fades with age. Adult sea spiders rarely regenerate limbs, likely because the process requires enormous amounts of energy. As they grow older, their bodies prioritize survival over repair. And then there's their size. In polar regions, sea spiders can grow up to 12 times larger than their counterparts in warmer waters. This ties into a broader pattern known as deep-sea gigantism, seen in giant squids and massive deep-sea isopods. Cold water holds more oxygen, which may support larger body sizes. Slower metabolisms may allow creatures to grow over longer periods of time. Scientists are still debating the exact cause, but the results are undeniable. Extreme environments produce extreme life. Sea spiders are just one example of how bizarre deep-sea evolution can get. Other creatures like goblin sharks with spring-loaded jaws, anglerfish with glowing lures, and giant tube worms living off toxic chemicals push the limits of what we consider possible for life. And studying these creatures does more than satisfy curiosity. They help scientists imagine what life beyond Earth might look like. Moons like Europa and Enceladus hide vast oceans beneath their icy surfaces. If life exists there, it won't look familiar. Creatures like sea spiders prove that life doesn't need to follow Earth's rules. Sometimes it survives by rewriting them completely. So, who knows? The first alien life we discover might not be a little green man, but something far stranger. If you enjoyed this deep dive, leave your suggestions in the comments. I do my best to read and respond to as many as possible.